Life podcast, where we are awakening purpose and mobilizing people to step into their calling and to just bring impact into the lives of other people. So as you know, this show is sponsored by Allies in Youth Development. And I just want to tell you a little bit more about Allies and who we are and what we do. So Allies is an international nonprofit that is transforming the lives of orphans and vulnerable children all around the world. So every day, millions of children are growing up without a family and without a support network, causing them to face a future of poverty and abandonment and human trafficking and substance abuse. And for the past 14 years, Allies has been working diligently to break that cycle and to be a part of the solution for these children. And we're doing that by recruiting and training and equipping local mentors who are stepping into these orphanages within their own communities. So these mentors, they speak the same language, they understand the culture, and they are deeply invested in the next generation. And so they're showing up consistently, being present, offering life skills, training these children, giving them access to education, and really helping to rescue orphans from a life of despair and giving them hope and a future. And so today, I am so excited for our guest. We are going to be diving in deeper into the how and the why behind the mission of Allies. And I think for us, sometimes when you hear about the struggle that children are facing around the world, it can feel very overwhelming. But I think what you're going to find today is that the answer is not all that complicated, and it's powerful, and it's just being present, and it's mentorship. And so our guest today, Lizbeth Quispe, she serves as the Allies Regional Director for all of Latin America, and her leadership has really shaped a movement that is changing lives all across the region, not only through mentoring relationships, but just through incredible creative initiatives like community libraries, and you're going to hear more about that today. And you're going to see how ordinary people are really stepping in and breaking the cycle of hopelessness, and God is transforming lives for generations to come. So let's jump in. All right, so our guest today is Lizbeth Quispe. Did I say that right?
Yes, Quispe.
Quispe.
Right.
Okay, Lizbeth Quispe. So let's jump right in and welcome Liz. We are so excited to have you here all the way from Peru.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me here.
Yes.
Now.
And our listeners, you may feel like you recognize Liz. Well, she was on an episode here recently where she told a little bit more about her story. So if you missed that, please go back and watch that. And it will show you more of her heart and her passion and really the why behind everything she's going to share with us today. So Liz, I'm just so excited to have you. And I really want us to start by telling our listeners a little bit more what life is like for children, for some children in Latin America, and what are some of the challenges that they are facing in the area where you are.
Latin America.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in Latin America, the biggest challenge is the poverty.
Mm-hmm.
But because the poverty opened the doors, the different kind of other challenges,
Mm-hmm.
like abandonment
Mm-hmm.
and human traffic too,
Mm-hmm.
for broken family,
Mm-hmm.
because we were already orphanage where the children, they don't have parents,
Mm-hmm.
but we already working with children, they live in the communities,
Mm-hmm.
and they have maybe moms only that, but the moms of that, they don't stay all day in the house because they need to go outside and working,
Right.
and the child growing alone,
Right.
and they are like a different, they live different kind of challenge
Right.
in their life.
So some of them are literal orphans, meaning they don't have family at all, and some maybe have a mom or a dad, but their family is not able to be with them. So
Exactly. Some of the children in orphanages, they don't have families, yes. But most of the children in Cusco, in Peru, in Latin America, they have parents. But the parents suffer like alcohol or poverty, and they don't are ready to have their children in their houses, and they suffer different kind of challenge like abandonment, or they live in broken families too.
Right. So you're seeing that it's a cycle.
Yes, it's a cycle generations. For example, when we hear stories about the moms who is, when you hear the stories, it's very difficult, and maybe you think, what kind of mom They are. But if you can hear the story of the mom, it's only the circle generation. Yeah.
So she's often a victim herself.
Exactly. Maybe she didn't know how is the light. If she didn't know how's the light, she couldn't bring light to their children.
So it just continues. And
Yes.
so have you found that mentorship and just being present for these children is helping to break that cycle?
Exactly.
Okay.
With All Lives Mentoring Program, we visit monthly, once a month. Already we are working for 3 years, but I know Allies is working around 14 years around the world. But
so Allies has been in Latin America for 3 years.
For 3 years. And we visit all time this orphanage. And we have volunteers, but all volunteers is the same all time. And the children know our volunteers. They know the our volunteers. And it's like they start like have a friendly.
So it's not different volunteers showing up each time. It's the same ones. So they build that relationship.
We try to have to have the same volunteers in every visit, because that is the mentorship. That was the work, the mentor program.
Right.
Because our children needs to know who is. And they start this relationship.
Right.
They started to have, and they start to be like feel more comfortable, because our volunteer remember the names of our children. And this action is very, very love. They can feel very loved, because they feel like the volunteer know me, who I am, who I am.
Yeah.
It's very important for us.
Right. Wow. You might not know the answer to this question right off the top of your head, but how many orphans are estimated to be in your area in Peru?
Okay, now we are working with around 3,000 children in South America.
Okay.
But in Peru, we have like a number is over 500,000 children. It's only in Peru, but we are already working with 3,000. You can see how's the difference.
Yeah.
And we need to work. We need to start to work with more children, because more children is without help, like a mentorship programs.
I think sometimes when you hear numbers like half a million, like that can feel very overwhelming, and like, how are we ever going to help fix this problem? But I think 3,000 children is amazing. That's incredible. But yeah, let's double that number, or triple, or keep going.
Exactly, because we are talking, for example, in Peru, maybe I can mentor only for one girl, but it's not only one, because she has family. And maybe she will have babies too in the future. It's very big. Then the next generation, you are helping now one, but in the future it will be more.
Absolutely. So for each child that you're helping, the potential is really a lot more than that. The ripple effect, because that child is changing their family, which can change generations, which can change entire communities. So those numbers are much bigger than what we're even saying.
It's more bigger. Yeah.
Well, thank you for kind of starting us off with just painting the picture of the challenge and what the problem is. So let's get into a little bit more of what is the Ally solution, and what are we doing to help these children. And so why don't you start by telling us more about how did you get connected with Allies? So you're the director of all of Latin America. How did that come about?
Okay. 2022, I was working with children in my church. And because we want to, we feel we need to do something. And we try to do something. We start to work with children around my town, my where I live. And one organization whose name is Jóvenes con Propósito, they know how we work. And I remember when the Chris Borgin is the old founder of that organization, and Tatiana Baeva is the director of international operation and co-founder too. They're trying to come to Peru and they start to help children in South America. And that's why the organization Jóvenes con Propósito knows Chris Borgin, Ala's organization, and that's why JCP knows how I was working. They invited me to go with a Lizbeth organization and visit 3 visits first orphanage in Cusco. And when we met Chris and Tatiana, it was only amazing because we didn't know each other, but we feel like we know many years before.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Like an instant connection.
Exactly. Well, my first language is Spanish. I speak Spanish, and they speak English. My baby, we couldn't understand each other with words. We have the same purpose on the heart. That's we start.
Universal language.
Exactly. And we start to work in 3 orphanages first in South America. We start in Cusco. And we started working for a year in Allies organization. They know me and all volunteers. And I can know how works Allies, how works with the volunteers, how work with AMP programs.
So AMP, for our listeners, stands for Allies Mentoring Program.
Exactly.
Okay.
Allies Mentoring Program. And we know each other around 1 year working in these 3 orphanages. And after that, we can see how the children feel now. Because before the visit, you can see the faces of the children. They look like a sadness. They like you are who you are. But after that, they feel like more happy. They trust on us. It's like a wow. And that we think we need to this AMP we need to share or start in other countries in other orphanages. And the next country we start after Peru is Bolivia. And then Argentina, and then more countries.
domino.
Now, exactly. Now we are in 18 countries.
Wow.
In South America, only in South America.
And you said that started 3 years ago.
Yes.
So in 3 years, you've grown to 18 countries.
Very fast.
Wow.
Yes.
How many centers and orphanages are you guys in doing the mentoring program?
Now we visit already 74 AMPs we have is in orphanage and community centers.
Okay.
We have already 60 leaders.
60 leaders.
We work around with 500 volunteers
Wow.
in South America.
Well, I definitely want us to talk more about the volunteers because as I've shared on the show, I've met these people and they are incredible. And so in a little bit, let's talk more about that. But I want to stay here for a minute and just talk about our operations and what the mentoring program is doing, because obviously it's working. It's impactful and that's the reason for the growth. So what do you think makes the mentoring program so special?
Because all volunteers, they are present every month and they work with each children. We have like a rule. All volunteers need to learn the name of each children. That's only action is very important. It's very powerful for all children. Because sometimes the tutors call, girls come, boys come. But what the name? They have names. All volunteers know the names. This is only one example. But all volunteers go every month. They make different kind of activities, fun activities sometimes, because then children need this kind of activities.
Yeah.
For example, they celebrate every month the birthday. It's a celebration. It's a funny thing. For the children, it's very important to have this kind of celebrations. And then they have like a workshop, like a psychology workshops, sports. They have many activities because we want to enjoy with all children. We have like a different kind of activities, but the point is to be present in their life.
That's the most important thing is the presence. So let's talk about the birthday parties. Are y'all finding that for some of these children, they haven't ever had a birthday before?
Yes.
For
For example, we stay in one orphanage. They never celebrate the parties. And when we start, we ask, who is the birthday in this month? And they say, what? You will celebrate? Yes. But for example, we ask on February. And January or December, some of the children, they had like a birthday. And we need to join all together. We have a celebration, big celebration. And then we start like a tradition. Every month we start to celebrate the birthdays.
Yes.
That's happened. In some of the orphanages, they never
Yeah.
celebrate the birthday. Yeah.
Do you find that many of the orphanages are just really trying to meet their basic needs? So it's just they provide food and housing, but
Yeah.
they're not really pouring into the children or, doing things fun or trying to teach the life skills. And that's kind of where the mentors come and fill that gap.
Exactly. We try to help the orphanage that they are working. They try to go and help what they need.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the orphanage they have great psychologists,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't have funny times.
Mm.
And so we start to have a funny time with the children,
Right.
Because we visit once a month,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe they have only food, but they don't have in education, they don't have psychologists, and we try to bring this kind of service because it's very necessary. It's a complete. We try to help this orphanage, but when we visit communities, they don't have nothing. We start.
They need it all.
Yes, they need
What
all.
are the psychologists doing for the children?
They try to work like workshops, for example, prevention of human traffic. They try to teach them how, for example, about the emotions. It's a new thing for most of the children. They need to know you can feel sad, you can feel happy, not is all. You can change this kind of mind.
How to deal with their emotions, how to process their emotions.
Exactly.
And that's great. So basically just teaching life skills and things that as parents we're teaching the kids, but these kids don't have that
But
opportunity.
only no psychologists, because we teach also life skills. Sometimes how you cook cake, or maybe how you need to go and have an interview. Maybe it's different kind of thing.
Right.
We like allies. We have a program for a year. We have different kind of activities. For example, what topics? Psychology, festivals, sports, and you need to know how this community need, and you need to choose. Okay, now I will work this. Now I will work this. We need to try find different kind of activities for all children, depend of the needs.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's great. Amazing. How have you seen this impacting children? Have you noticed a difference from day one to the end of the year and how it is affecting them?
Our program, we have our program in a year, 9 months. We start on April and we finish on December. And all children, they know we will finish on December and we will return on April. All children, they are saying, no, please, we need to see you again. We enjoy this time. And this. And all volunteers, they return. January, February, March, they already return because they just want to stay with our children. I remember one story when one of our leaders, they don't visit January, February, March because of some vacation. And when she returned on April, the children like, wow, you are here. They go running, the hug our leader, hug our volunteers, and the tutor said, they don't love you more than me. They was jealous. He was feeling jealous.
Yeah.
You can see in that kind of
Yes.
action how the children need you, how they love you. Also, do you think our volunteer helps to our children, but also these children help to our volunteers, to our leaders too. It's like a love. You give me and I receive too.
Yeah, mutual beneficial. Or they're both
Exactly
benefiting from that.
Because our leaders love to our children, but in this kind of reaction of the children, we miss you, we love you. It's like a for all volunteers, and for that reason, our volunteer or their leader, they want to return all time and start doing activities with our children.
They're so committed.
But maybe our relationship with children is in the orphanage, but when the children is 18 years old, they need to go out from the orphanage. But the relationship continues.
Even after they've
Exactly.
left.
Some of our children who were on the orphanage now is volunteers,
Wow.
and maybe in the future will be leaders.
Wow. That speaks volumes.
Yes.
Because that shows that they believe in this so much and the impact it had in their life that they want to give that back to other children.
That's what we want to show. That's what we want to teach. Maybe the darkness is in your life, but when the light comes, you know the light and you know how feel when you are under the darkness. You need to come back and help to others.
Spread the light. I love that. All right, Liz. Well, I want us to kind of back it up a little bit because when we're talking about the amount of growth that Allies in Latin America has experienced, these are not normal numbers. People don't normally grow at that rate. So I want us to unpack that a little bit. And I also want to know more about you and what led you to make that decision that, you meet Chris and Tatiana, that you decided, you know what, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is where I want to commit my life and my life work. So what was it about?
Well, first of all, about the growing, I feel like only is God. Only is God. And God was working in my heart to take the decision to work with children, to work with vulnerable children. And when I read about in the page website how Alice doing, it's like that's I am think I need to do this for our children because it's not only education, it's not only psychology. Like education, psychology, support on materials, and spiritual too. It's complete.
Yeah, the whole child.
Exactly. Also, when I meet with Chris, I can feel the heart of Chris. Chris already loves our children. He cried for our children. You can feel it's real love. That's our leaders too. They feel. They love our children. They not only work because they need to work. No, they just love to our children.
Yeah.
And now we are here and know more about the operation in USA. And I meet with every people in the person on the staff, allies staff. They just love our children. They give the best they can do for these children. It's the same.
Yeah. So you saw that in Chris and in Tatiana, and it sounds like God was already stirring in your heart prior, and then you saw a connection that what Allies is doing is what the Lord was leading you to as well. So how do you go from 3 people, you, Tatiana, and Chris, to 60 leaders?
Yes.
Or 60, yeah.
Yes, they are 60. Now we are 60 leaders.
60 leaders. How does that growth happen? How did you, how do you do that?
Well, if I think we start to work only in Cusco for 1 year. And then Chris know me better in 1 year. How is my purpose, how I work, how I feel, how I think. Also, I know more Chris and Tatiana because we talk all time. We share more how they feel, how they start. We share more. And then we think we need to start and we need to. This AMP program we have in Peru is very successful. We need to have in other part of the countries. I remember one of our leaders, they know one leader who is already working with children in Bolivia. They told us maybe we can start in Bolivia too. Also, yes, we can because we love children. It's only Peru. Because in all South America, they are more vulnerable children. I had the experience to travel in different countries. I can feel because I know the stories on the mountains, Andes mountain, but I know the stories on the República Dominicana too, and Mexico. They have different kind of challenge. Well, then we start in Bolivia, and this leader know other leader who is already working in our country. That's they only was like a God connection that I can see, because our leaders, they know other leaders who works in other countries, and only God was like me. God was working in my heart. They already is working on
In
other
their
hearts.
Yeah.
That was a connection.
Yeah. So he just puts these pieces
Yes,
together of
exactly.
people who know people who are aligned with the same passions
Yes.
and commitment that you guys are.
Most of these leaders, they are maybe volunteers or only families or only like students. They want to do something for the children, but they don't feel support. When allies come, they feel, I have support. I can do it because we give training too. They feel like they can do it, and they will start growing,
Right.
because they think we can do more. Some of our leaders, they don't have visit one orphanage. They have they have been in 3 orphanage, maybe 3 communities. That's where we're growing.
That's how you're growing
Exactly. And for example, our leaders, they have volunteers, a team of volunteers.
too. Okay.
These volunteers, if they show how they work, these volunteers, they can be leaders in the future. And then these leaders, they can be directors, regional directors. That's
how it keeps growing.
Exactly. Now we have 3 regional directors who is working with leaders, and the leaders that are working with volunteers.
Wow. So that's kind of the structure that you guys have put in place. And I'm assuming that the leaders are helping do the recruiting.
Exactly. The leaders and the volunteers too, they are working.
So they're going into different universities and churches and that's kind of how you guys are finding some of the passionate volunteers that you have.
When you share your passion, when you share the proposal, the vision of this, most of the people join you. And these people, or volunteers, they are pastors, they are teachers, they are students, or they are moms, maybe. The many people from different church, from different universities, from different realities too.
It reminds me of when I met with Chris Bergen and he shared kind of his story of how this all came about. He has a passion for equipping people. He loves empowering people and giving people resources to then, go out and do what God's called them to do. And so I can see his hand in this because that is the model, right? Is you guys are equipping and empowering your leaders who are then equipping and empowering the volunteers who are then equipping and empowering these children.
Others. Exactly. Most of our volunteers and leaders, they have hard stories. And when they share with our children the experiences, they feel like, you know how I feel. And then help each other.
That's powerful.
Yes. And when you tell about your story, how you start working. For example, me, when I talk with my leaders, I told us my story. They feel like, that's happened to me. And they start to, I want to work with children because we need that.
Yeah.
Because we need how you can feel if nobody say yes. You can feel that. For that reason, all volunteers or leaders, they know how the children can feel.
Yeah.
And that's wrong.
Yeah, that's so powerful. Because I think it gives people courage and hope. If you're going through a hard time and have faced trauma and abuse or abandonment, and then you look to a leader who also did but has overcome and has a bright future, it just gives them the courage to see themselves in that.
Exactly. How you can see how the darkness can be now the light.
Turned. That's so cool. Do you feel that you can share about the new library in High Cusco? Are you able to share that story?
Well, first of all, for our library, how we start libraries.
Yeah.
We work AMPs, a less mentor program in orphanage, but we know the children who are in orphanage, they comes from the communities. And then we start to work with communities.
Okay.
When we start with communities, we know they need a place where they can stay. Because in orphanage, when we go and visit orphanage, we have space where we can doing activities, worship. But when we are start to doing activities in communities, we don't have
There's nowhere to meet them.
exactly. We maybe on the garden or maybe on the street,
Wherever.
Exactly. And then we start what we can do, what we can do more for these children, because we need to think what we can do more, because the need is big.
Yeah. I love that. If there's a problem, there's a solution.
Yes.
So what's the solution? So
Yes.
allies,
What we can do.
you saw this problem and you got to work. So what is the solution?
And we think it start to be working on libraries.
Okay.
Because we have this space, we have books, we have workshops inside. It's a safe place. It's funny place for our children. They just feel like comfortable inside our libraries. And the libraries, they are open all days. And you're in the orphanage, you can stay only once a month. But our libraries open all days, and our children can come to our libraries. They can stay, read books, or maybe they can make their homework, homeschools. They can do that. For that reason, we try to create libraries. In this October, we will have our fourth library. In October
Peru.
will be the celebration of opening our library.
So in America, libraries maybe have a different context than in Peru. So when I think of a library, it's just a place to go check out books and stuff. But this is so much more than that. This is actually a safe place for children and their mentors to meet and to, yes, they can read books, but it's so much more than that.
It's like if we have a space, we try to do the best we can do in this space.
Yeah.
We try to make all volunteers. They are very creative.
Yes.
They try. Now we can do cook. Or maybe we can see only movie like a cine.
Yeah.
This space, the name is library,
But it's
but
so
in
much
the
more.
action is.
So
It's
much
your
more.
home, it's your cine, it's your fun space, it's your for workshop space. Also, now we start working with moms. We will have a workshop for moms, not only for children now.
Okay. Wow.
Well, in this way, we know the communities. The children in the communities, they only have like a school, but primary school. If they want to study in a high school, they need to travel to Cusco, to the city. And it's very difficult because they need to leave their family and they need to live alone in Cusco or maybe with other families, but they suffer different kinds of violence because they are not with parents, with trust people. And we had the opportunity to build our fourth library, and we started thinking where we can build this library. And we started thinking where in Cusco. That's what we had in our heart. We need to build in Cusco, and we know in Cusco is one area whose name is Alto Cusco. Is this the area where from the communities, the people come and live in Cusco, because living in the same Cusco is very expensive. And they live only in the high Cusco. It's more cheaper, maybe. But the most of the people who comes from the rural communities, they live in Alto Cusco. In this area, there are more violence, domestic violence. They suffer more. And that was first, we think maybe it will be in Alto Cusco. That's because we work with communities. But then when we were on one taxi, I heard one news about one story, one children about girl, about 5 years old. He suffered sexual abuse for her father. That happened was in Alto Cusco too. And that's the second confirmation
That's where you need to be.
yes, we need to be in Alto Cusco. Then we start to think, okay, we need to go on the Alto Cusco. But then we have one leader who is psychology student, and the psychology student, they need to give a service community in one hospital. And this girl, these children, little children, kids,
The child, the one
child.
girl.
Okay, this child was in the same hospital. For that reason, our leader, they know more details about what happened and that story. It was very hard because the father raped to this little child. But then, after that, the mom and dad tried to kill it to this child. But this child passed away, sadly. That was very hard because we know more details about this for our leader because our leader
Works in the hospital.
That's the
Third confirmation. That's where you'll
this
need
will
to
be in Alto Cusco too. And then we go to Alto Cusco because Alto Cusco is big. We need to go where? We only pray and say, God, you told us Alto Cusco. Okay, we took public transportation and go on the last part of the way of the public transportation. And we were like, okay, God,
Where do we
where
go?
is?
Right.
We start to walk, and we visit one like a popular dinner canteen, like a dinner
Like
room,
a diner
room,
restaurant.
diner, like a restaurant, and they are like a single moms. Only the single moms, they cook. They try to help each other, and we started talking. We know about the news. We want to work with your children, and one mom raised her hand and say, "This child was my neighbor." That confirmation. This is the place.
Right where you were.
Yes.
Where.
Now we had 3 AMPs with the children in this area, and the October will be the opening or library
Of a new library.
Exactly. But when we start to talk with the single moms ask us, we want to have workshops too.
Workshops for the moms
Exactly.
to help
Workshops.
equip them. Wow.
We only say yes.
Yes.
Of course.
Because that helps the children.
Exactly.
As the moms
yes,
learn
because
and grow.
most of the moms support the children. If you don't support the moms, maybe the children will be in the orphanage.
Yeah,
That's
right.
supervision or orphanage supervision. You can see we start with MPs, but in our heart we need to do something more for these children. That's we start with libraries, then sponsorship programs. This is other. And now we want to start with moms too. Who knows in the future?
That's right.
Only God knows what happened in the future.
That's amazing. And so the libraries, how is that funded? Are people able to just donate to build a library, or tell us more about that?
We had also like an Allies adventure trip. When we built our first library, Chris was the first people who the person who comes to Keros Nation. Keros Nation is very high, around 5,000 meters. And Chris can see how works this library. And when he comes, he trying to share that story. He trying to share how works the library. And many people from USA, they can be the part of this library building library. And then we start to building our second library was on Chincheros. In next adventure trip, the people come and they know how works the library, how health is for our children. And then they try to find other people to join and donate for build the new library. And then we have the third library in Siquani. And they come in Allies Adventure program in the trip, Allies Adventure trip. They come, and that's the way. That's only people who comes and understand how our library works, and they try to join
to do something.
Something. That's why we have our 4 library. Who knows, 5 or 6.
Let's keep it going.
Okay.
Right.
But
so once people see the impact that these libraries are having, and then it's like, what do we have to do? Let's keep it going.
We share reports, videos, but you couldn't believe how works. For know how works, you need to stay there. I see how the child enjoys, how our volunteer work, how is our leaders. You need to stay there to feel how it works.
I know when we were talking about this earlier, you were telling me about the volunteers that are going to be in this new library and how they are equipped to really deal with some of the challenges that this particular area is facing.
Exactly.
You want to tell us more about that?
In this area, we know about that story about that child who suffered rape and then passed away.
Right.
And we know in this area they live more single moms. And we had in our heart, maybe because this library will be open all days, we will be like have a relationship with childs and then with moms. When you have this relationship, they tell you about her stories. We know maybe we'll be have a challenge. For that reason, the most of all volunteers, they are lawyer students and psychology students because we are ready. We know about some violence domestic. We are ready to go at the police to start the process, or maybe for the rapes too, or the different kind of violence. We are ready.
That's amazing.
We have these things on our heart. I think it's only God give this gift to us to start to work
So
with.
the volunteers that are going to be in that are trained and equipped to take action if they
Exactly.
hear
They are ready.
or see anything.
They are ready. And I feel very proud because they told me, maybe in this area we will know more about this. We need to be ready. We need to prepare. That's where we start.
Awesome. So I want us to talk a little bit more about your incredible volunteers, because when I was in Peru and got to meet them and see our Allies mentoring program in action, I think that is what impacted me the most, is seeing their heart, their passion, their commitment, and just the level of excellence that you have established with this team of volunteers. And so you've told us a little bit about how you find them and the recruiting part, but how are you equipping them? What does that training look like to get them ready to go in and make this impact?
Well, each volunteer, they have meetings before the visit to talk about how will be the workshop, how is the responsibility, your responsibility. They try to find the organization, but after they have meetings too. And after they start to share the story, how they feel on the orphanage, how they know how we can find more opportunities or more things to how we can help the children. This kind of meeting is very important because we share our passion. We share how you feel. You need to empower all time to your volunteers, your leaders. It's very important. We have volunteers and we have leaders in all South America. I live in Peru. We had every month some meetings. And we have like a training. We talk about how we can work now. Will be the topic. And after that, we have like small rooms when we put like a leader from Costa Rica with leader from Argentina. They stay in one small room in Zoom. They start to share the stories. And this the way we found our leaders. They share the stories and they feel like I am part of the big team. And they hear stories about the others, how God is work in their lives. That's they feel like empowered. Also, I am in Peru. I try to have meetings in my house all time with the leaders, with all volunteers. It's very important because all volunteers go and help our children, but also they have their troubles, their troubles, their problems.
They have their own lives,
exactly,
and their own challenges.
They need to also empower and they need also mentoring. We have leaders and volunteers, but also the leader is the mentor of the volunteers. Me too.
That's
Or the
so
regional
cool.
directors. They are a regional director on the leader, but sometimes they are the mentor of the leaders.
That's great.
Also.
So they're not just workers.
No.
These are people that you are invested in and that y'all are mentoring them as well as them mentoring them.
They are people who feel we need to work in this, in the heart. I think that's why allies work, because it's not only like organization. You have this work, the rule, this program, this process. No, it's like a family. It's a family. It's a friends, and you feel, you can feel like we are on the same way. That's with our leader, Chris. Chris feel you are a friend. No, you are not employer. You are a friend.
Right.
You can talk different kind of things. You can know and learn from Chris too, or Tatiana, or Margie, or different kind.
Right. That's so important. I mean, the health of an organization, it really trickles down from the top. And so the fact that our founders and our leaders have such a heart and a passion for this work, and not just for the children, but for the team and for each other. And that's, like you said, that's what makes Allies so special, is that it's not just a job.
No.
It's a calling and a passion.
For example, Chris, I know is so busy. Tatiana too. But they give their time to travel to different country and empower, spend time with our leaders, spend time with our volunteers.
Right.
That's a way. Because our volunteers, they love, enjoy, and stay with Chris, share stories, hear, because they love, feel like a dear family. That's Chris and Tatiana travel all time to try to give time and talk with our leaders, talk with all volunteers, share, spend time with the children.
It's amazing. Yeah, I think Tatiana went to 17 countries this summer. That's, yeah.
I think only God give talents to do something, because also Tatiana, she has a talent to learn very fast different kind of language. Because Tatiana speaks Russian, English, but now she start to learn Spanish too. And she reminds some phrases from Africa, Indonesia, India.
She's definitely the right person for that job. No doubt.
I think in all the stuff in Allies, God gives different kind of talents. Because Tatiana is the best in like a regional director. But maybe the others, they are the best in their.
And you are the best
at
Latin America. Yes, in the operations there.
Thank you.
Yes.
We only need to trust on God.
Yeah.
When we start work, we need to pray all time, all time.
Yeah.
When we will have a meeting with volunteers, with leaders, we pray.
We pray.
That's all rest for us, because it's difficult work with people, but we trust in God.
Yeah.
That's our peaceful for us.
I love that at Allies, prayer isn't just a last resort. It's not something that, we better pray. It's really it's our first step. It is our growth strategy. Everything we do is covered in prayer, and because we know that orphans are close to God's heart, and this is his work that we get to do.
But not only for our children, also the most of our volunteers, they are believers, but some of them, they are not believers. And when they come to our activities, to our meeting, they feel like, this is different. How you pray? I never hear this kind of prayer. And they start to, who is Christ? Who is God? They know Christ too. They know where is our trust, where is our faithful, who is our protector. They
amazing.
know. Yeah. Our volunteers, our leaders, they come from different kind of realities. Some of the church, some of the believers, but some of not. But they start feeling different kind of things
after being in the program.
Only the Holy Spirit
can
do
that. Well, when we look at what you and your team has done in the last 3 years, it blows our mind. So tell me, what is the next 3 years look like? If you could dream big, what do you think the future of Allies Latin America is?
Well, my dream is only to help more children, but I have the same question in my mind, because 3 years before, I couldn't believe maybe in the future we will have around 60 leaders.
You wouldn't have guessed this.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because only we were on 3 orphanages. Now we have 74 areas. It's like now I am already expected. And like God, please let me know. I want to see how will be happen in the future, but I know God knows now, and I only say, I'm here. Whatever you want, mine is yes. Amen. Whatever you want.
Yeah.
That's
Your answer.
makes.
Yeah.
When we trying to find more leaders, one of our leader told me maybe we can start in Guatemala, and then she gave me one number. And I start to write on WhatsApp. She's, hi, my name is Lizbeth. For example, Nancy told me you want to work with allies. But then she answered me, I'm sorry, I am not from Guatemala. I am from El Salvador. But I was praying for one support for work in one orphanage because I already have been visit one orphanage with my husband, only my husband and me. But I think we need to talk in one meeting.
Oh my goodness.
And then we start to talk with Evelyn, is our leader already now in El Salvador.
Yeah.
We was like, how? My mistake? Because I think it was my mistake. It's like, how we can found?
Yeah.
Because around the world is many people. How
Right.
we can found?
Yeah. Only God.
Only God, because she told me I was praying for one support for work with children in El Salvador.
And then you just
Yes, it's
randomly
like
messaged her. Wow.
Exactly.
Not random.
No.
Yeah.
That's one story how we found our leader in El Salvador.
Right.
We have many stories. For
Just like
example,
that.
exactly. We had areas in Bolivia, in Cochabamba, and Sucre, y Santa Cruz. But when we traveled with Tatiana and Chris to Bolivia to supervise how they are working, because we have reports every day, every month, but we need to travel
see it.
and meet in person our leaders, our volunteers, the children, the orphans, directors. And that time we take one transportation and we start to talk with the driver that we are allies, we work with children. And the driver say, I am a pastor. I was praying because I am really all me work with children. That's and Chris and Tatiana is
What?
only God.
Only God.
Now he is already our leader in Uyuni in Bolivia.
And he was your driver.
Exactly. He was our driver.
Yeah.
We think, but
Yeah.
in many driver, God Abraham is the name Abraham, our leader in Uyuni.
Wow.
That's we found
Yeah.
other leaders. That's many kind of stories.
Yeah.
But the reason I believe only God sent us our leaders.
Yes.
Send us our volunteers.
Right.
Because you are doing something through heart, with the real heart, God.
His favor is all over that.
Exactly.
Yes. And not that you don't still have to work, but it's like you really just have to be surrendered to his leading and allow him to kind of direct you and
Exactly.
look at
You only need to say, I'm here, God.
here
what
I am.
you want to do.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's
Use
all.
me.
Yes, use me. That's all. You need to trust. That's
Wow. Well, I cannot tell you, I mean, the words thank you don't even seem like sufficient for saying yes, because I've seen the impact that you're having, and not just on the children, but on your leaders and on this whole team. And your heart is beautiful, and your passion and for the work that you're doing. And I just thank you so, so much. And I know the next 3 years, God is going to wow us in what he's going to do
Thank you.
through your team and through your work.
Exactly. Thank you. Wherever you look good in me is God. Who is bad? What is bad in me? It's me, Lizbeth.
Okay. I haven't seen that yet. What's the bad
For God.
for God?
Yeah. Today we have talked about many challenges, but also about the simple, powerful ways hope is rising. Our mentors are showing up for children, building relationships, and changing lives. If you want to be part of bringing hope to these children, I invite you to support Allies in Youth Development. We are so grateful for our generous donors, and the work we do is only possible because of faithful people who give. Every dollar you give goes directly to provide mental research and education so children have a brighter future. You can learn more about and give at allies.org.